And now the news in detail. President Bola Tinubu has again reassured that his administration is taking necessary steps to ensure that Nigeria defeats terrorism and other forms of insecurity. President Tinubu gave the assurance during the meeting of the Federal Executive Council. State House correspondent Musba with Wahab reports.
The Federal Executive Council meeting came to order to fill the hitherto ministerial vacancies created in the Council. Following their nomination and screening by the National Assembly, 2 new ministers designate were primed for inauguration. Bernard Doro from Plateau State replaces former Humanitarian Affairs Minister Nentawe Yuwada, who is now the APC National Chairman. And Kingsley Ude, a former commissioner from Enugu State, is taking the slot of Enugu to replace the former Minister of Science and Technology, Uche Naji, who resigned recently.
Of my duties as minister, so help me God.
Then, in an unusual circumstance, came the usual assertive voice.
The most important thing is
President Bola Tinubu would for the first time react to the current situation occasioned by the threat of military incursion by the U.S.
Despite the political headwind and the fear of our people, we continue to engage with our partners. The sources of the 2.3 billion bond, our subscription, oversubscribed, is the most at this stage. So the task ahead is immense. We are engaging the world diplomatically, and we assure all of you that we will, defeat terrorism in this country. The task ahead is immense, but it's our resolve to move forward with unity and purpose, guided by a renewed hope agenda to build a prosperous, inclusive, and resilient Nigeria.
The President also yielded the floor to the Coordinating Minister of Finance and Economy, Wale Edun. The Coordinating Minister gave updates of economic progress, including the growth of GDP by 4.2% in the second quarter of 2025, growth of 13 major sectors by 7%, growth of industrial sector from 3.72% to 7.45%. Foreign exchange reserves topped $43 billion, while trade surplus hit 7.4 trillion naira.
Yesterday's hugely successful 2.35 billion euro bond issuance, in which the order book peaked at over $13 billion, is a testament to continued investor confidence in our country and our reform agenda and Mr. President's leadership.
He assures of sectoral commitments to the $1 trillion economy envisioned by the government as they prepare for the next phase of the reforms.
The next phase of reforms will remove barriers holding back investors. We will review tariffs and import restrictions to stimulate productivity and investment.
The minister believes every naira must be optimized to sustain momentum amid global liquidity constraints, while the government continues to harness local resources to strengthen the economy. From the State House, Musba Wahab, NT News.
A high-level stakeholders engagement on regional development and security is underway at the National Counterterrorism Center, Office of the National Security Advisor in Abuja. The forum aims to promote equitable and sustainable development across Nigeria while enhancing national security.
Regional diversity.
Local and foreign development partners converge to strengthen institutional synergy and improve policy alignment with a focus on fostering better coordination and coherence among regional development commissions.
Let's look way for financing differently. Let's look also way
for measuring progress because progress matters. Let's put inclusion as a first step.
The forum also aims to develop integrated frameworks that leverage on regional comparative advantages to drive inclusive and balanced development across all regions.
The unique nature of our security challenge is such that when it happens, there's no discrimination. It happens all across the country, more so in some parts than in others. So that's why there was a need to call for understanding, to call for measured communication.
Equitable development is nothing anybody can doubt. It's also very good in order to promote a harmonious living and understanding.
So we're looking at partnering with the Ministry of Regional Development to ensure that development reaches all the region. We believe that with this development, it will keep our youths engaged. It will prevent radicalization and violent extremism.
I want to use this platform to thank President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for finding wisdom to create these development commissions. We believe it is going to drive development throughout the nooks and crannies of this country.
The high-level stakeholders' engagement is focused on ensuring balanced and sustainable development to promote unity and security. From the National Counter-Terrorism Center here in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And Nigeria has positioned itself as West Africa's climate action leader following its submission of the region's first third national determined contribution, NDC 3.0, to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Director General of Nigeria's National Council on Climate Change, Tenyoye Majokodumi, disclosed this during the ongoing 30th conference of the parties of the UNFCCC COP30 in Belém, Brazil, in an interview ahead of the summit's opening ceremony. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
Belém, the capital state of Para in the North Brazil, is a port city and gateway to Brazil's lower Amazon region. And this is where leaders across nations are meeting, with Nigeria participating on the UN Climate Change 30th session to discuss on 3 key mandated reports that shed light on where progress is happening and where more acceleration is still needed. And Vice President Kashim Shettima prepares to unveil Nigeria's green transition roadmap to the world leaders, positioning the country to turn its climate commitment into concrete investment opportunities and projects.
Submission of our NDC 3.0, and we being the first West African country to submit. And this is, it's a turning point for Nigeria. And one of the main things we're hoping to take away is to turn all these deliverables in our NDC 3.0 into pipeline projects, partnerships, and pay for performance. Because we need to start turning this paper from paper to projects, and COP30 is where Nigeria will be doing this.
It's about Mr. President's commitment to the 2016 Paris Accord, which Nigeria is signatory to, and of course ensuring that, Article 13 of that particular accord, which talks about climate change, is duly pursued and of course being implemented later. So here in Belém, Mr. Vice President will definitely be taking to the later and speaking to the spirit and body of Nigeria's intent. And talking about nationally determined contributions has always been pursued. We look forward to reducing our climate emissions in 2030 by 35%. And of course, we are targeting zero emissions by 2060.
Vice President Kashim Shettima is billed to join other world leaders, development partners, and business executives at the opening ceremony of COP30, themed climate action and implementation, with a strong focus on adaptation, forest, biodiversity, and climate justice, expected to present Nigeria's climate action address. From Belém in Brazil, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
Right now, beyond the visible scars of destruction, shattered buildings, broken homes, and displaced families, war also leaves behind a silent tragedy, the slow death of everything that sustains life, the environment. With 6th of November every year marked as the International Day for the Prevention of Exploitation of the Environment in War and Armed Conflict, the United Nations is calling for an end to war and healing process to the often forgotten victims. Charles Alpha reports.
When bombs fall and tanks roll, nature becomes an unaccounted casualty. Forests are burned, rivers poisoned, and farmlands turn barren. The aftermath is far more devastating. Communities lose access to clean water, fertile soil, and safe air, while the forest, rivers, wildlife, and ecosystems that sustain life all suffer. In places like Iraq and Ukraine, oil spills and chemical leaks have poisoned the land for generations. In Afghanistan, years of conflict-driven deforestation have deepened droughts and hunger. And in Yemen and Gaza, damaged water infrastructure has created severe sanitation crisis, and children grow up breathing air that is unsafe.
The entire structure of the environment will be reduced to rubble. These are some of the consequences. Farmlands equally destroyed, and even spiritually the land gets polluted because of innocent blood that will be spilled on the ground.
To address these challenges, the United Nations calls for stronger preventive measures, from tackling root causes of conflict to restoring ecosystems as part of post-war recovery plans.
There must be justice. When people feel they have been deprived of their rights, their livelihoods taken, what belongs to them, they will resort to violence.
Observed every November 6th, the International Day for the Prevention of the Exploitation of the Environment in War and Armed Conflict seeks to raise global awareness and strengthen efforts to protect the environment in times of war.
I call for an end to the flow of weapons and fighters, which is making a desperate situation even worse.
This observance arose from decades of concern over the devastating environmental toll of war. The UN recognized that healthy ecosystems are crucial to reducing conflict risk and fostering lasting peace. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Now, President Paul Biya has been sworn in for his 8th term at age 92 after a contested election that sparked up violent protests in the country. Francis Udoja reports that the swearing-in ceremony was held at the National Assembly in Yaoundé.
This is a convergence of civil society groups and other stakeholders from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. They are assessing 50 years of ECOWAS legal and instrumental frameworks in the region.
This platform that has been put in place by Rosa Luxemburg Foundation's bureau in Dakar, we have the opportunity to share our experiences, and I just raised an issue regarding families that are led by women and that have very low wages. So it's a very difficult situation in a country where everything is imported.
Tenure elongation has become a real problem, and in that process we have seen the rise of authoritarianism and lack of respect for the rule of law.
For 2 days, conversation revolved around leadership instability, gender equality, labor market, and security.
This foundational instrument expresses the need for policies and mechanisms to enhance women's economic, social, and cultural conditions and to remove constraints on their contribution to regional development and promote equality.
In our society, a lot of people do not know that domestic workers are workers, and like any group of workers have rights. They are not slaves.
We would really expect ECOWAS to begin cracking the whip on abuse of vulnerable groups, and also ensuring that government do not just commit and pledge, but government actually commit resources, funding, towards improving the lot of vulnerable groups.
Aside policies, the consensus here is for stakeholders to ensure that ECOWAS instruments translate into reality and transform lives of citizens positively as a means to peaceful and stable region. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
Apologies for that mix-up there. That report was by Joseph Osen on the civil society organizations across West Africa who are assessing the effectiveness of ECOWAS. We'll take a short break now. More reports right after. Please stay tuned.
Constitutionally, every Nigerian is guaranteed the right to freedom of faith, meaning that whether you are Muslim or you are Christian, you are free to practice your faith in our country. But you also have to see the activities of government, what government has done, especially in the last 2 years. Of course, successive governments have tried. In the last 2 years, there has been a renewed focus. Renewed attention has been put to ensure that Nigeria becomes safe. But it's also wrong to characterize Nigeria as a country that does not tolerate religious freedom. It's also wrong to say that everywhere is not safe in Nigeria. Nigeria is indeed a safe country. The government of Nigeria is working hard to ensure protection of lives and properties, and also ensuring that people go about their businesses. You have to recognize that there is a massive drive by government to ensure that Nigeria is ultimately safe for everyone.
Thanks for staying tuned. And now here is President of Cameroon, Paul Biya's 8th-term swearing-in ceremony as president.
After the election, the world's oldest head of state was declared the winner of the October 12 presidential election by the country's top court with 53.66% votes, while opposition leader and former ally turned challenger Issa Chiroma Bakare got 35.19%. Issa Chiroma Bakare, who had earlier declared himself the winner, refused to accept the win, rather claiming the victory. Reports in Cameroon say clashes with security forces before the announcement of Paul Biya as winner of the just concluded presidential election left at least 4 protesters dead as opposition supporters rallied to demand credible results. However, Paul Biya, during a ceremony at the National Parliament attended by local political figures in the absence of foreign leaders, told Cameroonians that he will spare no effort to continue to be worthy of this trust. Paul Biya, 92-year-old, has led the Central African nation since 1982. Francis Udojo, NTA News.
Right. Now, in a fast-changing world where digital technologies are shaping progress, women must be equipped with the right tools and knowledge for them to continue to be agents of change in their families, communities, and the nation. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu stated this at the closing ceremony of the Women in Tech Training Program organized for 300 female entrepreneurs by Renewed Hope Initiative in collaboration with Huawei Technologies Company. State House correspondent Adini Taiwo reports.
Their journey into the digital world began around April last year when the Women in Tech Training Program set up by Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu through our Renewed Hope Initiative in collaboration with Huawei Technologies Company provided a platform for this cohort of 300 participants from across the 6 geopolitical zones to learn and adopt digital tools. The successful completion of their training, the First Lady says, marks another milestone in the efforts of Renewed Hope Initiative to bridge digital gaps by offering training and other incentives for female entrepreneurs to contribute to national development.
The participants in this group reflect the diversity and strength of Nigerian women, ranging from university students eager to step into the world of digital economy to business owners seeking to expand their enterprises through innovation to help them thrive in today's evolving technology-driven world.
While applauding Huawei Technologies for the collaboration, She says the ultimate goal is to support the agenda of the federal government for inclusive growth and digital empowerment for all Nigerians.
Your biggest strength is your ability to keep learning, evolving and adapting to new trends available for your growth in technology. Use your new skills to solve real problems in your various communities, because true innovation is only valuable when it improves lives. I charge you all to mentor others in your various businesses. Be a guide for young girls and women who think technology is not for them.
We are all ambassadors of digital empowerment, and you carry with you the torch of innovation and the promise of change. The renewed hope is not just a slogan, but it is a reality where every Nigerian woman can dream, learn, and lead without limits.
Use this certificate as a key to the world. Use it to build your product.
With their certificate of participation and starter packs in hands, they stand at the threshold of the digital world, ready to unlock doors of opportunities as innovators, able and willing to build products and solutions.
So we were taught how to use AI to generate our own businesses.
It has made things very easy for me. In my research work, it helped me a very lot, even in my teaching.
I want to expand it to other people too that are not from Nigeria, that are not from Imo State, that are willing to have an virtual class.
Apart from this cohort, RHI partnership with other organizations, including the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, has served to promote digital inclusion for women. From the banquet hall of the Presidential Villa, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
Nigeria's industrial livestock sector stands at a critical juncture with enormous potential if properly utilized, and harnessed could be the mainstream of economic growth in the country. Usman Zuberi reports that this was the thrust of a one-day stakeholders workshop organized by Sanuvia Initiative with the theme Charting a Sustainable Path, Enhancing Nigeria's Livestock Regulations in Response to Industrial Livestock Farming.
Globally, industrial livestock farming, also referred as factory farming, has become increasingly prevalent as countries seek to meet growing protein demand through an intensive production system. However, this model of agriculture has become associated with significant challenges like public health concern, risks of transmission of zoonotic diseases, and the development of antimicrobial resistance. This workshop is organized to strengthen regulatory frameworks in Nigeria's livestock sector. It is aimed at tackling public health, environmental, social and animal welfare issues associated with industrial livestock farming, as well as promoting a food system that prioritizes compassion, sustainability and justice.
Populations are growing, incomes are growing, people are able to spend more on food, and that puts a big burden on the rising demand for animal protein.
The expansion of industrial livestock farming in Africa pose significant threats to animal welfare, public health, environmental sustainability, and the livelihood of smallholders farmers.
JBS is the world's largest meat processing company, and recently they signed an MOU with the federal government to invest $2.5 billion into the livestock industry. That investment is a huge investment which needs to, be monitored in terms of if we are ready as a nation.
The Sanuvia Initiative believes that to address these challenges is by promoting stronger advance-based frameworks, strengthening regulation through a One Health and climate-smart approach that safeguards animal, human and environmental sustainability.
We are positive that through our work, we want to be different to ensure that we are initiative that want to solve this problem at hand and not otherwise.
That there is an open opportunity now, angels begin to come in. And this is one of them that has come now. There's another one that came in. the other animal welfare activities that are happy with this development.
The workshop brought together stakeholders from government, civil society and academia, regulatory institutions to share knowledge and develop actionable regulatory and policy proposals. Usman Zubairu, NTA News.
The federal government has taken a decisive step towards achieving food sovereignty and eliminating annual post-harvest losses estimated at 10 billion naira. This development comes as Kaduna State hosts the 47th National Council on Agriculture and Food Security. Musa Babali reports that a comprehensive survey of Kaduna's agricultural performance was unveiled during the opening ceremony.
This is the highest-ranking policy council on agriculture in Nigeria, the National Council on Agriculture and Food Security. It brings together ministers, state commissioners, farmers, private sector players, and development partners. The 47th edition of the council meeting focused on achieving food sovereignty, transforming the agricultural ecosystem, and strengthening nutrition security.
For us to reach food self-sufficiency or improve our current food self-sufficiency levels, we need to attain the full potential of all our commodities. The right technology with the right, extension services, all of these things are doable.
The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, stated that the core of the Renewed Hope agenda is to ensure that Nigeria attains full food security and sovereignty. He announced that the federal government, in collaboration with AGRA and other partners, will develop a comprehensive national post-harvest loss management system to address the staggering $10 billion in annual food losses across the country.
As we deliberate and approve memoranda during this council, let us remember that every decision we take must lead to measurable results in our communities. We must leave here not just with resolutions, but with renewed determination to act.
A detailed survey report on Kaduna State agricultural performance was presented to the public by the State Governor, Obasani.
Agriculture to us is not merely a sector. It is a moral and economic imperative. It is the foundation of rural transformation, the engine of inclusive development, and the bridge that connects aspiration to opportunity.
Development partners, including Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations and various farmers groups, pledged full collaboration with the federal government and subnational entities to boost local production of staples. From Kaduna, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And this is where we end the news. Thank you for being a part of it. I am Frama Panye, and Shagun Ajayi has been the sign language interpreter.